Hi, welcome to another video of the Target Individual program, the Target Individual Experience. Today, again, a continuation documenting my targeting in this criminal, illegal, non-consensual human experimentation program, and also this criminal and illegal coercive persuasion program. What I want to talk about today, and it's very important, okay, is how these people will try to um, get you to doubt your view on the reality of what's happening to you and the views and your interpretation of what's taking place in front of you. Okay? And this is the things that they do. So on the psychologicalharassment.com website, if you go to the psychological manipulation and go to interpretation and views on reality manipulation, the workplace, the media, propaganda, and brainwashing. So let's start. Event or action. Interpretation of event, reinforcement of interpretation, and event or reality. Interpretation of this event or reality. Reinterpretation of reinforcement of interpretation and view on reality. Okay? So, in the workplace, employees who are psychologically harassed or psychologically tortured are often described as having the wrong interpretation of events or having a perception problem, a bad attitude, and the wrong view of reality. They are then asked to consult a medical professional, a psychiatrist, and are then usually subsequently discredited and classified as having a psychological problem or mental illness. Now let me stop right here because I'm going to give you an example of this. So when I was working, okay, when I was employed, I went through some heavy job mobbing, okay, psychological mobbing, deletion of my files, moving my files to other folder to try to make it seem that I didn't know what I was doing and I was deleting stuff or what have you. And so when I started noticing this, because when I would come in, my manager would call me over and he would basically like yell at me saying, what did you do with the files? Where are the files? And when I tell him I went to look and the files are not there, someone deleted them, he was like, why would someone delete the files and this and that? I'm basically putting it all on me. All right. So basically, what I started doing after that was when I would leave at night, before I leave, and I worked in a job, I would transfer it onto another server in which the people in the printing department would then take that file and output it to a printing device. So I started recording it, and wouldn't you know, next day I came in, the manager called me into the office again, talking about, you did with your file, listen, you got to be careful, and this and that, blah, 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 such and such, and trying to tell me, I'm trying to protect your job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, fucking right, okay? So I took up my phone, and I showed him the video. I said, look, this is the file I worked on. You see, I'm transferring it into the proper folder so the print department can get it and print it. And then, he started acting like now as if he believed me. They knew well what was going on. They all knew what was going on, okay? Because they all was in on it, okay? Then he would go downstairs and come back up, and he was like, well, I talked to the guys down there, such and such, and, let them know that, you have a video showing that you did transfer the files over and blah, blah, blah. So then I went to HR, and I started complaining. I said, listen, I'm being job mobbed. These people are psychologically harassing me. And once you know it, 2 days later, I got called into HR, and they told me to go into the conference room. In the conference room, there was a psychiatrist waiting there for me. So she explained to me who she was. I told her, I said, I have nothing to say to you. I said, I know that I'm being job mobbed at my job. You're not here to help me, so don't pretend like you're trying to help me. I know what goes on when people are job mobbed in the workplace, that the company will call on their own psychiatrist to come and discredit that individual and to claim that they have a mental illness. So I said to her, it was nice talking to you, but have a good day. I have nothing else to say to you. Okay? So now, about was it about a month, maybe longer than that? maybe maybe 2 or 3 months after we had moved into a facility in New Jersey, and it was the week following up to Hurricane Sandy, I believe, and you know they were saying how bad it's going to be. Now, where we moved into was on a flat ground level, right, and it was right by you have New Jersey marshes, right. And instead of management taking the precaution to, get sandbags and fill up and put it on the side of the building, around the building, by the door and everything, they decided to just close up and left the building exposed to where it could be flooded. Well, guess what? The entire ground floor, because it was 2 floors, the entire ground floor got flooded. All our computers, our servers, they all got damaged. Okay, and about 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, I got laid off. So much for my manager trying to protect my job, right? Okay, but again, this is what they'll do. All right. So you may have seen in the media where something will happen. The media will interpret it in a way that is false according to other media groups or to your understanding of events and evidence, and will then proceed to try to reinforce their views and interpretation on reality or events and evidence. Conflicting countries or organizations will often use what is called propaganda. And this is what they do to STI. They use negative propaganda, just like how they did with Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. They've done it to countless others to basically discredit them. Basically, also Colin Kaepernick, who was the San Francisco 49ers quarterback, who spoke out against, the unarmed shooting of innocent black people, and they discredited it and basically tried to, they basically sabotaged him so that he would no longer work. Okay, sorry about that. I just want to see who was calling me. Yeah, so for example, the media in the U.S., Russia, Europe, China, and Asia may all have different interpretation of events and views on the reality that they wish to induce in their audience. Controlling a victim's source of information and interpreting reality and events for the victim is also part of brainwashing technology. For example, an example of brainwashing and psychological attacks is fear of fear and attack to the honor. A victim will be led to believe that the fight or flight response is fear. They are then threatened, which results in the fight or flight response, which is interpreted as fear. You were scared, showing fear to your enemies, and the victim honor is then attacked by the use of degrading themes. So let me give you an example how this works. Okay. So, for example, when they target me in certain particular ways, for example, if they know that I'm about to have sex, they will use the police to threaten me. You'll see police officers walking towards me. When they see me, they will put their hands on their weapons, right? And this is to happen countless times. Then also, prior to that, I see a lot of police presence, around me and stuff like that. You'll see people walking in front of me again with their palms behind their back, all right, with their hands behind their back and palms facing outward towards me, that sort of stuff. So this is something that they do. Then, let's say that night, because of the targeting, I didn't have sex, right? I walked out the building the next morning, somebody be wearing a yellow shirt or a red shirt, okay, trying to say that I'm scared, okay, or I should be angry, because red is a color that may be interpreted as being anger, as being angry, okay. So stuff like that, and that, again, that's my interpretation. So yours could be different, all right. So interpretation and evidence are not the same. For example, if the interpretation or events is that Julius Caesar threw himself on the knives of the senators several times, that would contradict the evidence. So ignorance, intelligence, and the ability to interpret the event and evidence correctly and deduce the right view on reality is key and a factor. Okay? So again, so when people try to tell you, don't say anything, shut up about it, what have you, you're just going to be left in a state of confusion. It's going to affect you, psychologically tremendously, emotionally as well. So it's always good to talk about what it is that you're experiencing. I mean, you will go to a psychiatrist to talk about things, right? Me, I choose to do it this format now because the psychiatrist that I go to, he's also a part of my target, and they have recruited him into targeting me. So until I can find another psychiatrist who will not do that, and I suspect that will never be the case, they will always find something to get these individuals to participate in my targeting. Until then, this is what I'm doing. Okay? So now let's go to the video, because I got to go to the video. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Alright. So, yesterday, after I did that video, the previous video that I just did, I went to go pick up the kids. Okay? And immediately as I turned the corner, these two teenagers here, these two teenagers, they walked towards each other, looked at me, and shook hands. And I'm like, okay, so I saw that, took my phone out and started recording, and they both stepped back. Okay, now as you see, you'll see me walking, and then you'll see this teenager here wearing their black and red outfit. He's going to turn his head around and look at the church. Then he's going to turn back and he's going to start to play with his goatee, with a little bit of hair on his chin, with what I'm doing now. Okay? And you'll see exactly what's being done, because I'm going to explain exactly what's being done. Okay? So, actually, both of them turned around and looked at the church. Then he starts playing his goatee, because they both looked at me afterwards. Okay? So let's repeat that. Okay? Let's go. So see how he looks? Okay? Then he goes over this guy here. I think it looks like he's biting his nails or covering his nose. One of the two. I'm not quite sure. Okay? But anyway, what it is that they're doing, okay? Because recently, again, when they start targeting me heavily, when they would use my son or manipulate my son without his knowledge, okay, that he wouldn't answer my call and he would just ignore me, okay? And the fact that he was supposed to come down since Monday or Tuesday, and he's not able to come down to me for whatever reason. So I'm like, okay, fine, I know he has book reports got to do, so I don't really mind. But when I try to call him and my calls are being ignored, then then I'm like, okay, something is going on, right? So, teenager here, right? Again, this is what they're trying to say, and they've been doing this to me for years, was to have me believe that my son is not really my son biologically. But I end up taking the DNA test, came back, he was 99.9%, my biological son. But again, the reason why they do this is because they want to have something that they can use to control you with. So the idea or the thought that, we'll take your son away from you if you don't fall in line, that's the repeated theme here. Okay? So, this is what they're doing. Now, I ask these teenagers, okay, and they see he raised his hand up. I'm not going to do it, but with his palm facing towards me, with his hands on his forehead as I walk by. Okay, so now we're talking about color coordination here. Okay, an attack on the psyche using color. Okay, so now see this guy right here? He's standing here. He's looking up at the window. All right. Watch what happens as I approach him. All of a sudden, he turns around, starts walking this way, and he's going to be staring at this gray car. I thought it was tan, but it was actually a gray car. And the use of the color gray in my targeting also. Okay, and I've said that before on my other videos. So he looks at me. Okay, so I'm looking at the gray car. Now, here comes the crossing guard now. She has a white tissue in her hands, and she's going to take it and throw it in the garbage can, right? She's going to turn around. Now, she sees me recording. Now she has a yellow piece of paper in her hand. Okay? Now she sees me coming, yellow or orange. Okay, now she hides, right? Normally she's here because, you know, the kids are in summer school, so the kids usually coming up here, so she's normally there. She's normally over here, right? Now she goes to her corner. Now the guy that I just talked about, the one that was walked across me, he got his signal to walk across from me by a young woman who was across the street. Okay, and she did this as I was walking because I saw her, and that was when he started walking across. So again, this is the type of thing that they're doing. Now, I'm going to say this. If you're a TI, please excuse me. I know I have an armband that has a particular color on it, and it's because I wear it because I use the same tactics and techniques that the perps use on me. Okay, so when I wear certain colors, it's not to trigger any TI or target any TI. It's basically me wearing that color as a defense mechanism against my perpetrators. Okay, so I just need to explain that. So again, masking their psychological attacks. And let's go back and I'm going to explain it. Now, remember I said when my targeting first began, when I was working, when I would leave the job, I normally would take the elevator, but for some reason I kept taking the stairs. And that's because I didn't know about the technology that exists that basically influence your thoughts, right? Or put ideas in your mind to go certain directions and do certain things, right? Had no idea about this stuff until I started deeply researching this stuff. Okay, technology such as microwave auditory effect weapon, silent sound spread spectrum, voice to skull, bone conduction, right, where basically you can transmit sound to any human being through the bones when the bones vibrates. Okay, and I've had countless experience with my lower half vibrating. That's why I have the injury, the back injury that I have. It's because of that technology was being used on me. Okay, so let me show you how I'm masking. So anyway, like I was saying, when I was leaving work, I would take the stairs, and every night, I think it might have been for almost like 2 weeks, there was a police officer you could see because he was wearing his shield around his neck, and he would stand in the bottom of the stairs, and he would rest his elbow on the stair, on the banister, right, on the stairs, and he would just have his pointing finger, this finger down, pointing finger down, right? And so then after he stopped showing up at my job, about a month later, perpetrators, civilian perps on the street, started doing the same thing. And again, I did not know what was happening. Okay, and what was happening to me was that I was being programmed using what is called dark NLP. Okay, so you'll see that those two are standing there. Now she's going to start pointing with her pointing finger. Okay, and when she does that, the other lady here, she opens up her hand. She lifts her hands up. Remember I talk about facing towards you, the palm of their hand. They will either walk with their hands behind their back, with their palm of their hands facing towards you, fingers open, right? So this is the same thing that's going on here, but now they're trying to mask it in a conversation. Okay? want you to see the look on these people's face, right? So, again, when they know that I'm recording and they're going to be on camera, they're very unhappy. But for whatever reason, they can't say nothing to me. So if you look at his face, he's not very pleased that he's being recorded. He knows this. Okay? He's not very pleased at all. Now, let's see the other lady now. Okay, look at her face. She's not pleased either. Okay, so let me fast forward here. Right, so now you see this lady here, she was walking, and then she stops. Right there, she stops. And she looks at the church across the street. There's a church across the street. Again, we talk about the churches, right? How perpetrators of this program use religion and use religious members of the churches to target TIs. That's how they get their numbers in terms of the people, the vast amount of people who will participate in this. Here's another person, not too happy. She's being recorded. See her? She's looking down because again, she doesn't want her face to be on camera. But I got you, boo. I got you, boo. I got you. Okay. Now this guy. Okay. I don't know what he's doing. Whether he's high off or something. But he's like take his shoes off, what have you, and you're gonna see him again, right? Because you would think the time I got to the kids' school, had to wait to pick them up, you're gonna see him again. Okay? Again, repeated things here. Right? So now here's this guy who walks up and he stands there, right? Staring at his phone or her phone. I couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl. Now, when they do stuff like this, it's because, and I'm gonna tell you, right? So you'll see me. I think I turned the phone at this point. I didn't get the person that was going into the trunk of their vehicle. And again, here's the red vehicle, right? So the person that was going in the trunk of their vehicle looked very familiar to me. And again, they do this whenever they think that they can find people in my past who they can try to use against me, right? For whatever, whether to spread the rumors or whether to say, well, we're going to use these people as eyewitnesses against you and stuff and such. So this is what they'll do. So now they're going to use the red theme, okay? So you see the red car here. Here's another one that's turning. And then the school, the crossing agent, she's going to put her hands behind her head because she saw me looking at her. Okay? Now, for example, how they use silent subliminal messages, right? Words printed on t-shirts, okay? So because they feel that they're victorious over me and they've won, now they're going to start to rub it in my face. And again, the word fear the goat. We might talk about the fight or flight that I just read. Here's a perfect example of what it is that they do. And look, he's not even looking where he's going. He's just staring at his phone because they know I'm recording. And I deliberately stayed in his path so I can get a good picture of his shirt. Okay? Okay? And now, see the yellow theme here? Yellow and blue? Okay? Remember I talked about that? Use the color yellow to mean like I'm being fearful of them and stuff like that. What I just read, this is exactly what they do to the T. Okay? Like I said, I'm going to explain it to you guys because you guys need to understand what it is that's being done. Okay? So that's that. Let's get to the next video. Let's go here. Excuse me. I think I hit the wrong thing here. Alright, so now
approach this
picked up this
dude. Look at this dude right here.
pick up the kids, and we're walking back. Okay. Started walking up the block. One of the parents, she was wearing an orange shirt. She was driving a white car. As soon as I approached, she was no, she was there. Her car was on and everything like that. But the minute I got close to her and to this dude, she made a U-turn. Right? Again, she always do this U-turn stuff. Okay, so now here you'll
Approach
see
this dude. Look at this dude right here.
the same guy again. Now, what is he still doing there? What is he looking for? Okay, I mean, it's been like 10 to 15 minutes since, because I let my daughter play in the schoolyard for a little bit, right? And this dude is still there. Now, this dude now, he stands up again, and he's looking across at the church, right? When he sees me stand up recording him, then he starts walking. Okay? So again, this is the thing that they do, right? Now we all know when it comes to Coercive Persuasion program, churches are involved in stuff like this. Okay, they involve. We look at Scientology and its members and what they did to Leah Remini and Mike, I forgot his last name, when they were doing their series on Scientology and how they would shadow them, they would follow them, they would do also because they knew exactly where they were going. They would find out, basically invade their privacy to find out what time is their flight and do all that stuff, what hotels they're staying in, what does they do, and they will lie, and these people will lie, okay, because that's what they do. They are liars, okay. These people walk around talking about God this and God that, and they're living righteously, but they are liars. They will lie to you, okay. And it goes to show that they don't really believe what they claim to believe. All right. So anyway, so got back in the house and I was watching Luke Cage, and so I got on Netflix and I noticed that my profile picture was changed. Okay, so I want to show you guys. So I share my Netflix account because with my son, with my kids, and with Pam. Um, we consider ourselves a family, or did consider myself at one point a family. Not quite sure what's going on with Pamela now because they've been using her to target me. So I go on there and I see that my profile picture was changed. Right now, it's not the kids. Maybe it's Bryce. I don't know, but why would he change my profile picture? I have my profile picture for years, and he's never changed it at all. Then he changed his picture. Well, then his picture would change. I wouldn't say he changed it, but his picture was changed. Okay, so this is the stuff they do. Invading your privacy, going into your accounts, changing stuff in your accounts. This is what they do. Okay, this is what these people do. All right, and they call themselves righteous, patriots, whatever it is. Okay, but these people are the ones that are breaking the law. Not me, not you, the other TIs. It is these people who are breaking the law. Okay, and they're doing it every single day. Okay, so let's go on. So I'm leaving Pam and heading home. Okay, and there you see the theme again. So watch. Remember the fight or flight, using fear. Yellow is a color used to represent fear. You're fearful. You're yellow. You're a yellow belly. You know, your bananas. And what's the color of bananas? Yellow, right? So now as I'm driving, now this guy, yellow shirt, is gonna walk across. Now I'm not fearful of these people. And so this guy's coming out. He stops, and I wanted him to go because I wanted to, get a good picture of his face. Okay. So now he stands there. He got both hands in his pocket, and he takes out his phone, looks at it, put it back in his pocket. Okay. This is him. You see, here he stands up there. I don't even think that was his car because he's already there. He would have. There you go. So you would think that he would open his car though, but it's not his car. But the car is gray. Remember I talked about them using the color gray on my target. So he stands there now. Now this is a wide street. Okay, he can open up his car door. Believe me, on that. See, no keys in his hands, nothing like that. There was no car behind me. Okay, so this is the things that they do. All right, so let's see. Let me fast forward here. I might miss a couple of stuff, so you have to forgive me. But I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, and there's a lot to be covered here because there's a lot going on here. Okay. And again, you'll see that yellow theme repeats itself. Walking, with yellow shirt on. Okay. So I'm going to talk about repeated patterns, right? This is what I'm talking about. Let's see here again. Let's go. I believe I just saw another gentleman here walking again with the yellow shirt on. Yeah, there you go. So there's that yellow theme again, repeating itself. And the gray car trying to pull out in front of me. Okay, wait, let me, alright, okay. Now I'm going to explain this part here once, and then I'm going to do a full screen. I'm not sure if you might see it on your screen, because I can't tell, because I can't watch both at the same time when it's full screen. Alright, so now, here's a perp. Okay, he's right there in the black and gray shirt. Okay, and as he sees me, he's going to start walking towards me. Then he does the hand signal, you know, the hand behind the head or the shoulder. Okay, now let me go back and let me make this full screen. You can get a better picture of him. Okay, now he's standing. He was just waiting. He wasn't waiting on the light because the light was red. He could have walked across the street, or he could have walked across the other intersection. Okay, so he's the purpose, just there, standing there, just waiting for me to approach to send me subliminal message in hand signal form. Okay, there he goes. Now he turns towards me. Turns away from me, I'm sorry. Okay. Again, yellow taxi cab, right? So I hope you guys understand what it is I'm showing you and explaining to you. Okay? So the theme yellow repeated here. And again, they do it in such a way in which they try to mask it by spreading it out. Alright, so again, just as I turned that corner, you saw the red vehicle parked up when I turned that corner, and then as I drove up that block, I came directly behind the yellow taxi cab driver. Again, the red theme also at play. At the corner here again, parked up is a red vehicle. Okay. Now you see this young woman coming across there. She was pretty. She was good looking. You know. So as she walked past, I caught a slight glimpse of her. I mean, listen, I'm a man. She's pretty. I'm not really interested in talking to any female at this point, but any woman at this point. But that's what it is. So this guy now, again, he's there to see that if I looked at her, and when I do, he's going to do a hand signal, right? Watch. So I look. Now, see the pointed finger? What I tell you about? Okay, with the phone in the hand. See that? Okay? I mean, these people are so full of shit. They'll believe anything that they're being told, and because they feel that they have the condition of anonymity, that nothing is going to happen to them. That it's perfectly okay for them to do what it is that they're doing, because the people in an authoritative position are basically giving them permission to do that. Even though it is a crime of what they're doing, with the promise of not being prosecuted, okay, for the crime that they've committed against TIs. So when your family gets involved in this, listen, they will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat, okay, because they don't want to go to jail for participating in doing what it is that they're doing to you. That's caused you great psychological harm as well as physical harm, and chemical harm too, because they will use chemicals on you in their attack on you. Okay, so got home, got parking, and okay. Next day now. Well, actually, so I got home, and let me give an update on the bed bug situation. So I got this substance called, let's see if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Demeritus Earth, and it's supposed to be very effective against bed bugs and insects, stuff like that. So I used it last night, and I was a little tired because I've been up for a couple of nights now. And I would say the first 2 hours of me laying down the substance, and I forgot to put it around two off the bed foot, because I have a platform bed, and it has 6 legs. So 2 at the top, 2 in the bottom, and 2 in the middle. So I forgot to put it around the 2 in the middle. So when I woke up intermittently, I think I woke up twice between the hours of 8 and 10, because I fell asleep because I was tired. I woke up and I found 4 of them, killed them, and then I went and put the Demericus Earth on around both of the other legs of the platform bed. And then from me doing that, I never had issue for the rest of the night. I woke up about every 2 hours, looked, didn't see any, finally went to sleep, didn't see any at all. So it actually was doing its job. Okay, so tonight, again, I'm going to be up again just to see. Hopefully I'll be able to sleep longer than 2 hours at a time, to make sure that the problem has been eradicated, and I put it all throughout the house. But it seemed to be doing a very effective job, because there was only 4 that I found. And like I said, the only reason why they were there because I forgot to put it around the middle bed legs. Okay, so the kids will probably be back at my house tomorrow. Being that, again, I have to make sure that this problem has been totally eradicated. And I also have a steamer, which I'm going to steam all my clothes, because the heat from the steam also kills them. So I'm going to be steaming all of our clothes and then folding them back up and putting them away. Okay, so now this morning, leaving the house, and here is my favorite perp on my block.
In the next building,
the short guy here, the short man.
He's one of the favorite perps that they love to use to attack me psychologically.
Okay. And so you'll see that repeated theme on Pam's block also, which you'll see my favorite perp on her block. Again, they're using, and they're coming out because they're at the point now where I guess they don't really care. Like I said, they've been sending me all these subliminal messages about how they're so, how they've succeeded in destroying my life and stuff like that, and getting people to turn against me, so that I can never talk to anyone and such and blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, so let's see here now. go and let's go back again. So now you see the red car now. And another red car on each corner. Again, the red theme at play. Okay. Now look at this guy. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the perps. Alright. Now this female here across the street. Okay. Let me go back a little because you can't really see her, but as I was approaching the intersection, you know, she took her right hand, okay, her right hand, let me show you exactly what she did. Her right hand, placed it against her face, one side of her face, and again, with the palm of her hand, just like this, towards me so I can see. Okay, and again, excuse me, I'm not trying to trigger any TIs here, so if you get triggered, I do apologize. I'm just trying to show a great example of what it is that they do in my target, and I'm sure they do it in your targeting too. Okay. Okay, so now, see this Jewish guy, as I turn, he starts walking. He was standing there, he starts walking. Now, there's a sidewalk, right? You see this guy here? He's walking on the sidewalk. Everybody's walking on the side, except for this particular guy. He's going to be walking down the street. Watch him. As he starts, as I come close, he starts walking faster. Now, see the other Jewish guy in the other corner? They're all walking on the street, except for that guy. Now, you see this woman here? Let me...
Something, just as you see the Caucasian lady across the street here, as soon as she sees me, she starts wiping up the in a certain way. So all these things mean something. Just as you see the
playing with her hair,
Caucasian lady,
and she starts grabbing on her
across
shirt,
the street
right?
here, as soon as she sees me, she starts wiping up the top part of her lip.
Right?
Now,
actually, that's what she was doing.
So all these things mean something. Just as you see the Caucasian lady.
So the guy here in the blue shirt, he's walking his head down,
wiping up.
Then he starts, you know, with his palm now, rubbing his shirt or wiping his shirt.
The top part of her lip.
Then
so
raises his hand again.
They're on the heavy psychological
campaign. In the slick way. You know, they're wearing a hat. They'll grab with their thumb in the bottom of the brim of the hat with their palms facing outwards.
Engage in this manner, where it's
so again, it's very heavy-handed psychological attacks. Okay, let's go
during the day. Okay, and I'll try to show it on camera.
Okay, so that's me explaining. I'm trying to show exactly what it is that they do. Now, as you see, as I approach, another guy pinches his nose. See that? See if I can try to pause it at that exact moment. It's kind of hard to do. But I'm gonna try. But he pinches his nose. You can't really see that well because the camera is shaking. The streets are very bad. But yeah. Okay, another guy, yellow umbrella, yellow theme. Now, let me make this clear, right? People wear all different colors every day, okay? And that's fine. I wear different colors myself, but I wear them because I know those colors are being used in my target, and so I try to use those colors against my perpetrators, right? So that's not the issue or the problem. The problem is that when you're being targeted psychologically in a very specific way, okay, when you've been conditioned in a very specific way to recognize certain things, things that are triggers, okay, because they have placed anchors in your minds, right? An anchor is an emotion, a feeling. It could be a person, or persons. It could be a place or places, right? This is what they do, and they use triggers. So triggers is something that will trigger that, anchor that emotion, or even a memory or person, or what have you. Okay, so I just want to explain that. This is a brush you have. Wiping, playing my hair. Okay, very important here. So coming up on this intersection, you guys will see. Let me pause it. Okay, there's the perpetrator right here wearing a red shirt. Okay, sees me, turns his back, and he stands there. You see, he's just standing. He turned around when he saw me, right? And he stands there. Now over here, you'll see another perpetrator who's going to approach this corner right here. Okay. There he goes, right there. Okay, now he starts, you'll see he looks at the other perpetrator across the street, okay, the one that has his back turned against me, okay, and now he starts clapping his hands, okay, but what it is, what he's making is, when you clap, he's making that V, right? Okay, remember how I tell you how they try to use that V to try to tell me that they're victorious against me, right? So this is what they do, right? See, and now he holds it. Right, so first he goes from clapping, right, to now holding his hands. Okay, then he lets it go. Okay, let's go back a couple minutes, a couple seconds. There he goes. Okay. Okay, so see, I missed this. It just dawned on me. So now, again, you'll see with the red, then comes the yellow, right? So again, here we go. So with the red, right, now comes the yellow. Okay. Yellow hat. Again, what do you see here? The red car pulling off as soon as I approach Pam's block. Okay. Let's go. Let's go back. See that red car again? Made that turn. Right? We went onto the block, and now as I approach, this red car is going to pull off. Now you see, the light was red, right? Okay, so he could have pulled off at any time, but he's until I approach that close to him in order for him to drive off. So this is a double take on the red theme. You saw the red car that made that turn from this corner right here and went on to Pam's block, and now as I approach the intersection, the light, now he's going to drive off. Okay, that giveaway if you're a TI. When you walk in and you see a car that's parked up, and all of a sudden you approach it, then they start speeding off. Yeah, that's what they do. Okay. Now, all of this now. Okay. I want you to keep looking. Here's the police car now. It's turning back there. Let's go back. See the police car here? Not the one that's coming out here. He's doing it to hide the police vehicle, but you got a picture of him. Then as I made the turn, you see the guy standing. This guy standing right here. That's the hand signal. Right? Hands above the head. Or behind the head. He kind of rubbed his the top of his head. Okay? Then he walks off. Alright? Now, again, doing all of that, right? And now they're going to try to tell me that to be quiet. So, as I approach, look at these two, the one in the wheelchair and the one pushing her, both of them, okay, doing this. Both of them. Now, imagine the planning and the execution that it takes to pull off stuff like this in Coercive Persuasion program. And this is exactly what they do. They move with precision. Just as how you have the military, how they move with precision, they have transferred these things into the civilian population. Okay? You guys need to understand this. The military ultimately is the ones that are doing a lot of this stuff. The military and the Defense Department, the CIA, the NSA. The military is defense. You know, the Department of Defense, the DoD. You know, they have developed technologies in which they can control people, right? Whether externally or internally, manipulating of their mind or using, again, mind control technologies to influence and manipulate people. Okay? All right. So, got on the block, and of course, you have a red car here again. So I start seeing a lot of these red cars parking up on Pam's block now. And now the red car. So you see now the color red theme is now in play here a lot. Alright, so now I'm waiting for parking, and here comes the favorite perps. The favorite perp on.
So you remember that perp that I told you that lived across the street, the one who always calls the fire department?
Yep, always.
Well, this is him here, standing in front of the red car. See now he
keeps touching his nose, right? He keeps doing this.
Took his thumb and touched his nose with it, trying to be slick about it, as if he's talking to the post office. Look, he did
again, they're masking technique.
Because
so
now they figure
here
they
she comes
point.
out.
So now he's
right? here she comes out. This woman here. She looks, you know, I think she's Hispanic, right? So the minute she is approaching, now he's going to tell him, okay, here she comes, and then he's going to move into action, and they're going to try to mask their targeting, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what it is that they're doing. They're not going. I'm not letting them get away with this shit. Hell, fucking no. So anyway, let's go.
Took his thumb and touched his nose with it, trying to be slick about it, as if he's talking to the post office, like he's doing it again.
Okay, now she comes out. There's a signal. She's coming out the building. He's going to walk towards him, and then he's going to point to me. Again, this is how they mask it in conversations that they're having. Okay, with one another. They're both in on it. This is all planned, orchestrated. Okay. Watch.
See, because now they figure they're at the point.
He's pointing at me, but he's making it seem like he's having a conversation with.
So now he's pointing at me.
Okay.
The postman's pointing at me.
This is what they do.
The perp again. Your favorite perp. He's there, pinching his nose.
Getting the palm. You know, raise the palm up.
I want you guys to take a good look at this guy.
Again, this is how they mask
their
target.
What is his address? Right? His address is I don't see a number on the door, but that's 44. That's 48. So he's either got to be 40 or 42, right?
He's pinching his nose.
36.
Pinch his nose.
That's probably 30. Right. He's probably 40.
The repeated thing he keeps doing. See that?
He's number 40. And there he is.
Okay. Then, as he walks across the street, he's going to open his mouth and
stick his tongue out
at me. That's very slightly. I've tried to catch it, but I'm not able to completely. You'll see his mouth open, but you'll barely see his tongue. All right, that's my alarm. Okay. So again, this is what they do, right?
Here's number 40, and there he is. Okay.
Yeah, always calling the fire
department at me.
He's the perp. I took the phone off the car mount.
Alright, let me take this off. Shoot. And there he goes.
Now, of course, you know, he's gonna act as if he's killing a bug. Like, how the hell you gonna see a bug on your? And he's deliberately looking at it. So that's to tell you, right? It's all deliberate. Okay, let me mute this so I can show it. And as he does that, you see he pinches his nose after he kills the bug, and he pinches his nose again. Okay? Let's go back here. So there he goes. So now, Alec, he's killing the bug, which he's not really doing anything at all. It's all subliminal. Pinch his nose. Okay? Then he pinches his nose again. Pinches again. I want you to see the repeated action here. Okay, because remember, when it comes to the psychological condition, repetition is key. Okay? And these people are involved in psychological torture against another person. Okay? It is as if I was a woman who was being raped every single day, this is what that accounts to. Okay? And all these people should be charged with criminal intent, criminal action against myself and other TIs. Everyone who's participated in targeting TIs psychologically as well as physically and chemically. And also biologically. Let's not forget the doctors. Okay? Okay. So now I'm getting parking. It's funny because for the past 2 days, I think past 3 days, I've been getting parking with this woman here. She's always seems to come out whenever I'm looking for park. So, and there's the super in Pants Building. Of course, he's just with the hand signal. Okay, see, the hands behind the head. No, I'm talking while I'm doing this, and he eventually,
because they're gonna wait until that moment when, like I said, when people say that they
move
want
out of the camera, because again, I'm trying to
so
describe what it is that he's doing And so when he realized that I'm recording, then he moves out of the view of the camera.
The view of the camera.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So that's what happens. That's what goes on. Okay. I can't, tell you guys enough, or show you guys enough, and I have to explain it because you guys need to understand what's happening when they're targeting you, like they target me. Now, this may not apply to every TI, but I think a vast majority of the targets can identify with a lot of the stuff that I've just shown, I've talked about. Okay? So, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, more videos coming, and the reason why I'm able to do these 2 videos the past 2 days is because the kids has been over here until, like I said, I eradicated that issue, which I think, I'm successful, but I'm gonna give it one more night, and then see, if I've eradicated that problem, right, which is the bed bugs. So hopefully I have good news. If not tomorrow, then on Monday, and we'll see. Okay. So remember, go onto this website, psychologicalharassment.com. Very informative, very important for TIs. It's a whole host of information on there, and you hear the horn honking as I said that. Right? Confirmation. Always do that they're listening to me doing my show or recordings or what have you. Constantly under surveillance, so they're constantly listening. All right. Okay.